We're learning more about who was arrested by federal immigration enforcement and why following a multi-day operation here in Wisconsin. And Dane County deputies are getting dozens of requests now for active shooter training after last week's workplace shooting in Middleton.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is almost 6:01 now on this Wednesday, September 26th, and you two are laughing at me, but it was cold this morning. Waking up at 2 a.m., had that blanket wrapped around me. It was a little chilly.
I'll be honest, it's hard to get up at 2 a.m.
It is.
No matter the weather, but the
Still
cooler
getting
weather,
used to it.
Yep, makes a little difference.
Makes it harder.
Yeah.
We're all warm and cozy under the blanket.
Exactly. See?
It was great sleeping weather last night. I will not lie. Temperatures dropped into the 40s, and that's where we are this morning. We have a pretty nice day ahead. No rain in the forecast today. We're at 47. Skies are clear. Winds are calm here in Madison. Sunrise, not for about 50 minutes yet. Hard to believe it's getting closer to 7 each day. Temperatures are in the mid-40s this morning. 45 in Watertown and Mineral Point. 46 in Janesville. You'll definitely feel, it'll feel like fall today with highs only around 61. West winds keeping that bit of a chill in the air as well. Here's a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. We'll see what's happening on the roads. Still pretty quiet all around Madison, maybe a few slowdowns on East Washington heading out of downtown. Otherwise, things looking pretty good. I checked around the area, no accidents, so you're still going at posted speeds heading into Madison.
And that's great to hear too, because there was some concern yesterday with all the heavy rain. You just never know now with the flooding. You're always kind of on pins and needles.
That's true, yeah. Should be pretty good today for travel.
All right, thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
First this morning, a 4-day immigration enforcement operation across Wisconsin is over, with a total of 83 people in custody. Of those arrests, ICE says 20 of them happened here in Dane County. In total, 44 people arrested have criminal convictions. Those range from felony sex offenses to drunk driving tickets. 16 had no criminal record at all. 21 others are back in the country after they'd been previously deported. Now, a reminder from local school districts. Kids are safe inside class from any immigration agents. ICE can't contact students at school without a parent's permission. Both Madison and Verona sent out notes of support this week to their families. Verona did confirm that some of the people detained are parents or family members of their students.
Federal investigators with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives are still trying to track how a gunman in last Wednesday's workplace shooting in Middleton got a hold of a pistol. Anthony Tong wasn't supposed to have a weapon due to mental health concerns. Speaking for the first time since last week's shooting, WTS Paradigm CEO Nathan Herbst said the company is bringing in grief counselors for employees and allowing them to go back to work when they feel they're ready. The office has been released, though, by law enforcement and is no longer a crime scene. One of the 4 employees who were hurt in the shooting is still in the hospital this morning. Now, Herbst says that the team never went through active shooter trainings. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says dozens of businesses have now requested that training since last Wednesday's shooting. Those deputies teach the run, hide, fight method, meaning you should plan an escape route. If that's not accessible, you should hide where the gunman can't see you. And if it comes down to it, the third option is to fight, throw things, or do whatever you can to distract the shooter. The Sheriff's Office says they are booked for those trainings into February and March.
There is some pretty dramatic video of a car crash caused by teenagers who Madison police are still looking for this morning. Take a look. This is surveillance video at the corner of Mineral Point Road and South Gammon. Look at that T-bone crash right there. That is where police say 3 teens ran that red light yesterday afternoon. You just saw the SUV hit another vehicle before the teens jumped out and ran off. That car wasn't even completely stopped at that point. No one was seriously injured in that accident. Anyone with information, anyone who might have seen something should call the Madison Area Crime Stoppers. That number is right there on your screen.
Governor Walker says construction on the interstate is going to wrap up a year earlier than what was initially planned. The governor made that announcement yesterday, saying the DOT found a way to save $250 million in projects across the state. That's moving up the schedules for about 70 projects, including the I-3990 construction between Janesville and Edgerton. That is expanding the highway there. That project should now wrap up in 2020 instead of 2021. Transportation has been a big issue in the race for governor. Walker's opponent, Tony Evers, has pointed out that Wisconsin ranks 49th in the country for road quality.
A quicker end date, not the case for construction on One Madison bike trail. A stretch of the Capital City Trail has been closed since midsummer for restoration.
And the city is reminding us it is still closed, thanks in part to all of the flooding that we saw this summer. Josh Spreiter is one of these cyclists who needs a friendly reminder. He is live along the trail this morning with the project update. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, ladies. Yes, I'll admit it, I was one of the many already out on the trail this past weekend, but I did notice many of the signs still up, including the closed sign and also the watch for maintenance vehicles sign, and that's because crews are still working. The repaving and shoulder work is done, but they're also still working on some of that signage. Now, the Capital City Trail from Nob Hill Road to Glacier Valley Road was first closed down back on July 9th. The project was only supposed to take 6 weeks to complete, but we all know Mother Nature impacted us greatly over the last month. That also pushed back contractors in getting the job done. You'll now notice a smooth new path, better shoulders, and soon even better signage along the path. I'm told we can expect this trail to reopen soon. Officials understand with the cooler weather, a lot of people are itching to get out. They expect it to be at least another week before they can officially reopen. Coming up at 6:30, we'll talk more about the next 2 phases that are going to happen over the next couple of years. And ladies, I know I can already see it. People saying, hey, wasn't that reporter out on this already? Do what I say, not as I do. How about that?
I was going to say, Josh, you got another week. Here's your warning.
There you go.
All right, our Josh Spreiter reporting for us. Thanks, Josh.
So a State Street restaurant will get its liquor license after all. Alders unanimously voted to override Mayor Paul Soglin's veto of the license for Koi Sushi. That's in the 500 block of State Street at the intersection there with West Gilman. Earlier this month, Mayor Soglin vetoed the restaurant's request to serve beer, wine, and liquor, citing the ongoing violence downtown he believes is fueled by drinking. Also new this morning, plans to build a new boutique hotel near the top of State Street are moving forward.
That is despite some concerns over the height of the building. Christina Laurie joins us live this morning with more. Good morning, Christina.
Morning, Leah and Danica. The plans for the hotel call for it to be 9 stories on the Carroll Street side of the building, which is 7 to 19 feet taller than what's normally allowed that close to the Capitol. That's caused some concern for both city leaders and people who live and work in that area. But the Common Council approved the project late last night, with only 2 alders voting against it. The $43 million hotel will have 130 rooms and include a first-floor restaurant and a rooftop bar. Parking will not be included, which was another concern with the plans. As part of that project, developers will remove the large building known as the Fountain and the space next door to it. A new building will be built in its place and connected with the 2 adjacent buildings. Right now, there isn't a timeline on when construction will begin. We're still waiting for that information.
All right, something we will certainly keep an eye on. Christina Laurie reporting live for us this morning. Thanks, Christina.
All right, 6:08 your time now. There are millions of people living with dementia across this country, and some of them find comfort at their place of worship. After the break, we're talking with a UW doctor about ways to make those social spaces a bit more welcoming to people struggling with Alzheimer's.
We are welcoming autumn today and really through the rest of the week. Hattie has temperatures right around 60 for the next few days. She'll let us know when we can expect some raindrops again when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Definitely feeling cooler outside. You'll at least want a sweatshirt, if not a light jacket, this morning. Take a look at that temperature trend over the last 24 hours. You don't need a degree in meteorology to see when that cold front moved through. We dropped about 15 degrees between 3 and 4 o'clock yesterday when the front began to move into the area and the rain settled in. Temperatures then dropped back into the 40s overnight, and that's where we are. Rain totals from that front yesterday added up to about an inch right around the Dells, about a half an inch here in Madison. I had half an inch in my rain gauge on the west side, and about the same at the airport on the east side of town. You can see the lighter amounts, though, that fell to the south and east of Madison as those storms weakened, tracking eastward. A look at Doppler track this morning will show you that things are very quiet across the entire area. We do have that front shifting to the east, moving to the east coast, bringing the rain there. But for us, things look pretty quiet today. We put the satellite picture on the map early this morning. Skies are clear here across southern Wisconsin, but there is still some cloud cover to the north that will rotate around this system, so we'll likely see an increase in the clouds heading towards the middle of the day. Temperatures across the entire upper Midwest are pretty chilly out to the west. North Platte this morning at 34 degrees. Bismarck checks in with 36, and Rapid City, South Dakota is 37 degrees. We're at least in the 40s here for the most part. 47 in Madison, 45 in Watertown, and 46 in Janesville. Milwaukee is still at 50, a little warmer close to the lake. Temperatures, though, are about 15 to 20 degrees colder than they were yesterday. Take a look at future track, and it'll show you what to expect through the day. Enjoy that sunshine this morning, because I definitely think more clouds are going to be popping up as we head towards the lunch hour and then right into the afternoon. We'll likely stay dry across southern Wisconsin. That's not to say a few sprinkles might be possible in a few spots, but most areas staying dry. Low 60s for highs here in southern Wisconsin. We will clear out again tonight, setting us up for a cold start tomorrow in the 40s once again. Another cold front moves through the area, bringing a chance for rain, especially later Thursday into Thursday night. Now, rain totals with this next system are going to be light. We'll likely see well less than a quarter of an inch in most spots. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We have temperatures that will stay on the cool side through the weekend. We have highs only in the 50s on Friday with another chance for rain in the afternoon. Low 60s this weekend, but wanted to draw your attention to that low Friday night into Saturday morning. Down into the 30s, which means some patchy frost will be possible. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, just coming in, Highway 51 near Stoughton is closed in both directions between Halverson Road and Lake Higanza Road because of a crash. You will want to take a different route this morning. No word on how much longer that'll be closed down. Quiet start on most of the other Madison roadways, including the Beltline. Things are moving well so far. No major issues from end to end. Other routes here in Dane County, they're not looking too bad either. It's just some of the usual brake lights on Stoughton Road and Verona Road near the Beltline ramps. Everything downtown Madison is looking good around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume shouldn't be an issue, at least for another hour or so. Other main routes heading into Madison, they're cruising along at the posted speeds with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. We will be sure to keep an eye on that Stoughton Road situation. 6:15 right now, and the number of people living with Alzheimer's here in this country is expected to more than double over the next 30 years or so.
It's why religious leaders in our area are talking about ways they can make their spaces more welcoming to those dealing with dementia. Dr. Nate Chin with UW Health works with that community. He's presenting on that issue this weekend. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about this event happening this weekend.
Well, leaders from the Madison churches as well as community organizations are coming together to host this event at Bethel Lutheran Church. And really it's this idea of becoming more dementia friendly in our social spaces, including churches. So there are going to be resource tables, panel discussions, presentations where we are interacting with people to discuss how can we best support people with dementia and their caregivers.
Dr. Jim, we were talking during the break just what dementia-friendly means for these spaces. And for you, what does that mean? What do you hope kind of gets across to these leaders?
Well, it's really a philosophy or a way of living within a community where people with dementia are understood, they're respected, they're supported. It's this idea of bringing people out from their homes back into the community where they can be active and engage with other people. It does require some education and training, but overall it's a very enjoyable process.
Do you think it requires or could require some physical changes to spaces too? I mean, are we talking about things you can see, hear, touch that are different for folks?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
as a geriatrician, I would say that that's true for all of us as we get older. Things change, our mobility changes, our interactions change. But yes, it's not only how we interact with people, it's really the space that we're in and how we see things.
Now, it's interesting, this aspect of bringing in the religious community to talk about this, but it's not just the religious community. You want to have this conversation with lots of different communities, right?
Absolutely. It's really nice that the religious community has come forth and they want to lead this movement. But it's this idea that if we want people out of their homes, if we want them engaging, let's reach all of the communities, the library community, the park community, the business community.
Yeah, and Dr. Chin, we talk a lot on this program about the importance of especially folks struggling with this, and millions of people are, being social and being out there with people. Can you just shed some light on just how important that aspect is?
It's really critical. So we know that as people progress with dementia, they become more isolated. There's more shame, there's more stigma. And by doing this, by raising awareness and providing education, we're able to address these things. We know that socializing is important. We know that improving people's mood is important, and really engaging the brain.
All right, for folks who are interested in going, this is free to the public. I think we have some information on this. It's happening this Saturday, right? September 29th from 2:30 until 4:30. You heard him. It's at the Bethel Lutheran Church downtown. Really great opportunity there for folks to learn
And
more.
I love too this choir that's going to be there, Dr. Chin. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Super. We just have about 20 seconds or so.
Well, the Amazing Grace Choir is actually, it's in Milwaukee, so this is the first time they're going to be in Madison. They're composed of people with dementia and their caregivers, and it really highlights the high quality of life and the function that people can have with dementia.
I absolutely love that. That's very cool.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for all the work you do too. 6:18 right now. There's a growing need for facilities where kids and teens in crisis can go and just feel safe. We will tell you about efforts to expand those inpatient services here in Madison and provide more treatment to more children in this community.
Before that, though, Hattie's checking out what the kids should be wearing to the bus stop today. I'm assuming it's going to involve a jacket, some sort of extra layer. She'll update our chillier forecast when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. It is much cooler outside this morning, so as the kids head off to the bus stop and to school, might want to remind them to grab a jacket. Or if my boys would have any saying, it's just a sweatshirt, they'll be fine. That's what they say. Temperatures are about 10 to 15 degrees cooler, or I should say 15 to 20 degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday. Here are the actual numbers: 44 in the Dells, 47 here in Madison, 44 in Platteville, and 46 in Monroe. Your bus stop weather forecast has temperatures climbing to only near 60 this afternoon. We'll have sunshine this morning, but then expect a few more clouds to roll in as we head towards the afternoon hours. Have a wonderful day.
Just a sweatshirt, Hattie, just a sweatshirt. Thank you so much. All right, a mental health provider here in Madison might be able to continue its programming that helps the Hmong community after the city voted to fund it last night. The Cap Times reports that Common Council approved a $40,000 investment in the Kashia House. Now, earlier this month, Journey Mental Health said it would have to close that facility and the program by the end of the year, leaving about 400 people without services. A lot of those people are older members of the Hmong community. We're hoping to learn more about the city funding and whether it's enough to keep the Kashia House open. A GoFundMe effort online to save the program is far short of its $150,000 goal.
A local healthcare provider will get some feedback tonight on its plans to serve more kids at a child psychiatry facility on the west side. Unity Health Meritor plans to add 10 inpatient beds to the child and adolescent psychiatry hospital, as well as outpatient services. Meritor says it has to turn away hundreds of children throughout the school year because of a lack of available beds. It's hoping to change that with this project. Tonight, a city committee will talk with architects about the design plans there. Work on the $11 million expansion is set to start by fall of next year.
Speaking of expansions, a free clinic based in Janesville plans to move to a new location and expand its mental health services. The Janesville Gazette reports HealthNet plans to do that over the next few years. The volunteer-based clinic offers free primary medical care as well as dental and vision services to low-income patients. With the expansion, HealthNet will be able to partner with social workers and possibly offer remote psychiatric services. CEO Ian Hedges says moving out of the current space downtown in Janesville will likely require a capital campaign. Most UW-Madison students, faculty, and staff would like to see the campus be smoke-free. The results of the latest survey from Public Health Madison and Dane County show that 81% of students and 85% of staffers at the UW support that school becoming tobacco-free. It also showed 2/3 of smokers either support or are neutral about getting rid of cigarettes, chew, and vaping products on campus.
An organization focused on helping Black women improve their health is getting a major boost from some local healthcare providers. The Foundation for Black Women's Wellness received a $200,000 grant from Healthy Dane funders. That's a group that includes a number of local hospitals and insurance companies. It's part of a 2-year commitment to try and address the health disparities that affect Black women in our community. The organization says many have limited access to quality health care services and insurance. They're also more likely to die from treatable or preventable illnesses. All right, 6:25 your time now. Highway 51 outside Stoughton is closed in both directions this morning for a crash between Halverson and Lake Kaganza roads there. The DOT says it should take about an hour to clean up. We'll keep an eye on that crash and update the rest of your morning commute coming up.
And it's always a good morning when I can talk about and watch dogs on the morning show here. City and county leaders are working on making the main public building downtown a little more pup friendly. That's next on News 3 This Morning.
Janesville's fire chief says his retirement is not related to an argument happening between his department and the city.
After being closed down for a repaving project since early July, the Capital City Trail is set to reopen soon. I'm Josh Butter live with details on that and the next phases of the project.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:29 now on this Wednesday, September 26th. Grab the jacket on your way to work because we are seeing a 15-degree difference between yesterday and today.
Yeah, Hattie was outside in short sleeves yesterday. 47 degrees out right now, Hattie, which means the jacket is on, right?
Yes, I have the jacket, and I'm very thankful that I have it this morning. It's definitely chilly outside this morning. Skies are clear. A front moved through the area, brought some rain yesterday, but that is history for today. We're looking at the Edgewater Sky Cam view of the Capitol this morning. You can see the dome lit up. A little bit of cloud cover drifting through the area, but that is it. 47 right now in Madison, 44 in Platteville, 44 in the Dells. If you're having trouble waking up this morning, just step outside. Mother Nature will do it for you. Temperatures will climb to highs only in the low 60s today, about 15 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. And you'll likely notice a few more clouds as we head through the middle of the day. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. There is an accident on 51. This is just north of Stoughton. The road is blocked in both directions between County Highway A and Schneider Drive, so be aware of that. You'll have to route around that accident this morning. Otherwise, no incidents or backups on the Beltline right now. Travel still looking pretty good as you travel into Madison. As is typical this time of the day, a little slower northbound on Verona Road. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, Hattie, thank you so much. 6:31 right now, and Janesville's fire chief says the recent dispute between his department and the city has nothing to do with his decision to retire. After more than 30 years of being a firefighter, Chief Randy Banker announced that he is leaving in January. In a statement, Chief Banker said his retirement is, quote, solely independent of the ongoing labor issues between the firefighters union and the city. Now, the department says city leaders are considering increasing health insurance costs by 400% following a disagreement about a policy that allows firefighters to wash their personal cars on work time. Chief Banker says he is confident the two sides will reach common ground.
There is a chance Madison police officers might be testing out body cameras next year. The city's finance committee voted to include a $100,000 amendment to start up a body cam pilot program in the 2019 budget. That would mean 47 cameras would be purchased, but only if City Council adopts policies to regulate them. Last year, the council removed a similar proposal from the budget until an outside consultant could take a look at it. That consultant did release a report, but it didn't include a clear recommendation either way. The rash of pizza delivery robberies we've seen in the city recently is continuing this morning. Madison police say someone tried to rob yet another delivery driver overnight. This one happened on the north side along Dryden Drive near Warner Park. Officers say someone walked up to a 27-year-old woman who was making that delivery and demanded cash. Now, she wasn't hurt, but police are still looking for that would-be robber. This is the 7th time robbers have targeted a pizza delivery driver since May.
Dane County will spend $18 million to help in flood recovery and prevention efforts. The Board of Supervisors announced that money would be put toward stormwater management, river flow improvement, water level analysis, highway improvements, sandbagging machines, emergency housing, and other projects. You can see a full list over on channel3000.com. County Executive Joe Parisi says while the funding will help tremendously, the county still needs the community's help in relief efforts. So that flooding has extended closures on the Capital City Trail this summer. Since early July, cyclists, joggers, they haven't been able to use part of that path.
That's because work on a 6.5-mile stretch has been pushed back by the weather. Now, it might look finished this morning, but Josh Breiter says that's not the case. He's live along the trail with that reminder. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Yes, we've seen a ton of people already out on the trail, but the county says it will be at least another week yet before they can reopen it. The reason why is there's contractors still out on the trail, so that's why they're keeping it closed down. Now, this was just the first phase of the project. We're right here off of Nob Hill Road, and the project consisted all the way over to Glacier Valley Road. Again, that was just the first phase. We'll show you some video of the updates contractors have made to the trail so far. First, obviously, a beautiful new blacktop surface. They built up a new nice gravel shoulder as well. The county is also working at putting in some better signage along the trail. The project took a lot longer than first predicted due to all of the heavy rain and flooding. And as we mentioned, this was just the first phase of the project. Coming up next year, they'll actually be extending that phase from near Fish Hatchery Road up to the Seminole Highway. And then in 2020, they'll be moving up to Verona Road. Those phases of the project are expected to be much quicker. We have all of this information up on channel3000.com. But you guys, the trail is beautiful. People are already out. But again, be safe. They're asking you to stay off as the contractors are finishing up, and the sooner they can do that, the sooner we can all be out, including me. I'm super excited.
And just keep an eye out for those workers. It's good advice. And Josh, don't jinx that the other parts will take not as long, because we could see, all that flooding again if you say things like that.
Oof. Well, there's less to do, they say, so that's why they say it's going to be quicker. But yeah, Mother Nature really put us through a bad one this year.
Yeah, you
Fingers
got that
crossed.
right. All right, thank you so much, Josh Ryder, reporting live from the Capital City Trail. Thanks, Josh.
6:35 your time now. We're about to get a sneak preview of Madison's newest music venue later today. The Sylvie is letting media inside one day ahead of its grand opening. The venue officially opens tomorrow night with a sold-out show by Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. The rest of the schedule, just as impressive as that name, the Decemberists, Death Cab for Cutie, and one of my favorite country music artists, Kip Moore, are all scheduled for shows in October. All right, if you're trying to get to the Sylvie from the west side tomorrow night, chances are you're going to have to go through that messy intersection at John Nolan, where East Wilson, Blair, and Willie Streets all meet. Tonight, the Board of Public Works is expected to extend the city's contract with a design firm to come up with a redevelopment plan there. Back in June, the City Council approved a $4 million plan to redo the intersection for safety reasons. Construction is set to start sometime next year.
There's a new proposal that would make the city-county building downtown more open to dogs, but they'd have to be good boys. Now, current building rules only allow service dogs inside. Under a new proposal, any dog would be allowed as long as they're kept on a leash that is 6 feet long or shorter. The pups would also have to be licensed, vaccinated, and of course, well behaved. The owner is responsible too for cleaning up any mess that might be left behind.
I know our dog-loving producer Melissa's probably going to spend a little more time in the city-county building if she's got some
just roam around in
friends. Yeah, why not?
You do, again, gotta keep them on a leash though, because otherwise they'd just be sniffing around the mayor's office. Bad news there.
And clean up the mess.
I know, exactly. Bring
Important
the
stuff.
doggy bags. You know what I'm talking about. 6:36 right now. City leaders have made an exception to the rules when it comes to the height of a hotel close to the Capitol. We'll have an update in the morning sprint.
And we're getting a better idea of what the old General Motors plant property could look like once the new owners revamp that land. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning.
Welcome back. 6:40 right now on this Wednesday morning. We always ask you to share your morning with us, and Sue shared this one over on Facebook. A nice shot of a zucchini. I don't know how long ago this was, but I bet those zucchinis liked all the rain. Hopefully yours are like this and didn't get all flooded out from the rain earlier this summer.
Boy, it makes me feel like I need to get in the kitchen, start cooking with some of those fall stuff.
I love a good squash.
Thanks for sharing, Sue. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook page, maybe on Twitter, and use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share all of our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. We want to thank everyone who's checked their closets for old winter gear to donate to our Coats for Kids campaign. We're up to 1,996 coats so far, so close to that 2,000 mark. A reminder, we're looking for coats of all sizes, but especially for infants and kids of all ages. You can drop those off at any Clinky Cleaners or Lucier Family YMCA.
We are getting a better idea of what the old General Motors plant in Janesville will look like in the future. The new owners of that property are going to call the site Centennial Industrial Park to honor the 100 years of work at the former GM plant. Those owners also announced the first changes to that land, saying the 250-acre plot will be broken up for multiple purposes and uses. About a third of the demolition there is already finished. 6:41 right now. The clouds will stick around today, but the rain will not. Taddy has temperatures at least 15 degrees cooler than yesterday. Grab the jacket for sure on the way out the door. Your full forecast is coming up.
First, though, it's September 26th. We want to say happy birthday to Weston. Look at that smile. Lucia, Rowan, and all the kiddos turning 3 out there. Thanks for letting us celebrate with you on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. With the cooler temperatures this morning, you're probably thinking about frost, which typically occurs here in southern Wisconsin, about the first part of October. We are right on track, though. We have cooler temperatures in the forecast. Now, most of these overnight low temperatures are still well above the freezing point, pretty normal for this time of the year, but want to keep your eye on Friday night into Saturday morning when temperatures will likely drop back into the upper 30s here in Madison, which means some of the lower line spots or areas to the north could definitely see some frost Saturday morning. That will also lead to some pretty leaf color peeking out here across southern Wisconsin. Still, not a lot of color to report here for the southern part of the state, but through central and northern Wisconsin, already starting to see some nice change in those colors. Some counties reporting 50% leaf change right now. Now, satellite and radar returns showing you that skies are clear across southern Wisconsin and much of the central plains, but there are some clouds to the north that will rotate around through the area as we go into the afternoon today, and that will lead to a bit more cloud cover for southern Wisconsin for the afternoon. You see some of those clouds popping up across the entire state through the afternoon, but by the evening, those clouds will dissipate as the sun sets. Our next weather maker is a cold front that drops down from the north later in the day on Thursday, bringing another chance for rain to southern Wisconsin, but also reinforcing the cold air that's already in place this morning. A live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Sun not quite officially up yet, but skies are clear here. Temperatures are in the 40s, 47 in Madison, 45 in Mineral Point, 43 in the Dells. Winds are very light from the west this morning. They'll increase just a little bit through the day today, but we are looking at pretty quiet conditions. Your Pinpoint City forecast highs today are significantly cooler than yesterday. 62 in New Glarus, only 59 for a high in Sun Prairie, and 60 in Fort Atkinson. Look for variable cloudy skies this afternoon to the west. 61 in Prairie du Chien, 61 in Platteville. Dodgeville tops at 60 degrees. And to the north, that's where we'll see more 50s on the map. Mauston, Necedah, and Adams all topping at 59 degrees. Now here in Madison, our forecast high today right around 61. Yesterday we hit 76. 63 tomorrow with a chance for some rain moving in late in the day. And then again on Friday, a chance for some afternoon showers. Friday's high, though, only 57 degrees. We're at least back into the 60s this weekend. And here's Nigel in Madison.
Oh, he looks angry.
You don't want to enter into a staring contest with Nigel. I think you'll lose.
Yes.
60 at 3.
I'm gonna
Not
try.
a fan of the fall.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to try right now. I'm in the staring contest. I'm going to win this one.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm watching.
Go ahead.
All right, stay with us. The morning sprint is up next.
6:51, time for the morning sprint. Addie says we are only getting into the low 60s today. Christina Lori's talking about a 9-story hotel that's going above what's normally allowed, so close to the Capitol.
And Josh Sprider is reminding us there's still work to be done on the Capital City Trail, even if that work looks finished. But we start with Dane County deputies. They tell us they're booked through March for active shooter trainings after last week's workplace shooting in Middleton. They've had dozens of requests from area businesses since last Wednesday. Meanwhile, WTS Paradigm is back open this morning, and grief counselors are available to employees after that shooting.
A 4-day immigration enforcement operation here in Wisconsin is over this morning after 83 people were arrested by those agents. ICE reports 20 of those arrests happened in Dane County. About half of the people taken into custody had prior criminal convictions, ranging from felony sex offenses to drunk driving tickets. 16 had no criminal record. About a quarter of those arrested had returned to the country after being deported.
Madison police need help finding the teenagers who caused this crash at the intersection of Mineral Point Road and South Gammon yesterday. Officers say that SUV was stolen. No one was seriously hurt. Anyone with information should call the Madison area Crime Stoppers.
The Janesville man who sexually assaulted an elderly woman nearly 20 years ago is set to be sentenced today in Rock County Court. 54-year-old Kelly Baxter was arrested last year, that is, after breaking into the home back in 2000 and sexually assaulting a 78-year-old woman. It wasn't until last year that a DNA search matched Baxter to the scene. A jury convicted him of second-degree sexual assault in July. He could face up to 40 years in prison.
And we're starting with cool conditions this morning. Temperatures are down in the 40s across southern Wisconsin, 47 here in Madison, only 43 in the Dells this morning, and just 45 in Mineral Point. Now, our forecast through the day calls for temperatures to climb through the 50s, back into the low 60s this afternoon. West winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And that's your First Alert forecast.
Thank you very much, Hattie. The Federal Reserve will wrap up its 2-day meeting in Washington today and is expected to announce the third interest rate hike of the year. Some experts predict, though, that will be delayed in anticipation of the president's trade war slowing down the overall economy here. National interest rate hikes typically mean higher rates on things like loans and mortgages. Experts do expect a 4th rate increase to come in December.
Governor Walker says construction on the interstate is going to wrap up 1 year earlier than planned. He says the DOT found a way to save $250 million in projects across the state. Upwards of 70 projects will now move up. That includes construction on I-3990. Transportation has been a big issue on the campaign trail this summer. Walker's opponent, Tony Evers, has said Wisconsin ranks 49th in the country for road quality.
I'm Josh Sprider, live along a portion of the Capital City Trail, which is set to reopen soon after being repaved over the summer. It may look open this morning, but not quite yet. For now, the county is asking for you to stay off. Contractors are finishing up phase 1 of the restoration project. The Capital City Trail from Nob Hill Road to Glacier Valley Road was updated over the summer. The project lasted much longer than expected due to the heavy rain and flooding. County officials tell me it will be at least another week before they can officially reopen the trail. Right now, they say you should still consider it a construction zone as crews remain working on it. The next 2 phases of the project will happen over the next 2 summers. You can look for updates on channel3000.com.
Josh, thank you. Madison police officers could be testing out body cameras by next year. The city's finance committee voted to include a $100,000 amendment to next year's budget to start up that pilot program. The money would pay for 47 cameras, but only if the Common Council adopts policies to regulate them.
Despite some concerns, plans to build a new hotel at the top of State Street are moving forward. Last night, the Madison Common Council approved the project with only 2 alders voting against it. There has been concern around the $43 million project because it's a planned 9 stories tall, 7 to 19 feet taller than what's normally allowed that close to the Capitol. The new hotel will have a first-floor restaurant and a rooftop bar. Construction is set to begin in March of next year and last until fall of 2020.
Thank you, Christina. The magic number for the Milwaukee Brewers is down to 1 this morning. Their 12-4 win over the Cardinals last night means they can clinch a playoff spot tonight with another win or a loss by the Colorado Rockies. The Brewers will now lead the NL wildcard by 3.5 games. They're only half a game behind the Cubs, who are leading the NL Central.
Single game tickets go on sale this morning for the Bucs' inaugural season in their new arena. Those tickets are available starting at 10 a.m. at bucs.com/single. The Bucks' first regular season game at the Fiserv Forum happens October 19th against the Indiana Pacers. Preseason play starts at home against the Bulls a week from today.
6:56 now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with another look at your first alert traffic. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Yeah, Highway 51 still closed in both directions because of a crash earlier between Halverson Road and Lake Kaganza Road. No word on how much longer that stretch will be closed. You will need to plan ahead and take a different route. Beltline's still moving well in both directions, although the westbound side is picking up between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. Inbound John Nolan, you're seeing the usual slowdowns near the Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive intersections. Now, the main routes leading into Madison are cruising along at the usual speeds with no crashes or delays. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh.
And we have clear skies this morning. Sun is just coming up. Here's the view.
Wow,
from the Queen Bee Radio.
gorgeous.
Yeah, Skycam in Platteville this morning, picking up the sunrise. Enjoy the sunshine this morning. Some clouds will move back into the area as we head towards the afternoon, but still not a bad day. Highs right around 61. Feeling definitely a little bit more like fall than we have the last couple days.
All right, thanks, Hattie. Make sure you grab that sweater on your way out the door to work today. And a reminder, if you're taking that bike path to work, it's closed.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.